Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Welcome to the Reaper Meteor Mark 8. Meteor F Mark 8, I think. And you'll notice I'm rocking RP3s and bombs. There is a 4x 1,000 pound bomb loadout that works very well for this jet. Bombing in a jet with pylon mounted bombs is great fun. But, I really love getting kills with the RP3s. They're a blast, if you'll pardon the pun, and punching physically through the roof armor of an enemy tank and then exploding every dang thing inside is just as fun today as the first time that I gave it a shot, and that's really all I have to say about that. Looks like the video's a little bit jumpy, so hooray to Shadowplay or Windows Update or whatever. My apologies. And you can see I'm a little rusty with RP3s, but spam makes up for ability every now and then, as we're down to a single pair of rockets left and at least one enemy jet in the sky. There's also a BF-109 F4, and yes, I did find out what model of plane he's flying in the kill feed, so that's gonna happen. Here we go, trying to take down some kind of prop. Yep, that's our 109 critical hit, unnamed critical hit, but we're gonna need more than that as we go toe to toe with a 262. Once again, we're going to turn below so he can't get his guns on target, but that drops our speed dangerously low for that F4 that's on our tail, a very capable maneuvering fighter, especially at these kinds of speeds. You can see we're under 400 miles per hour. We do manage to shred that ME-262, so a nice third kill, and we've got two enemy aircraft on us. Looked like a MiG and the 109 F4. Nice kill. Always satisfying to take down a jet in a prop, and I don't mind too badly if that jet happens to be me. So I've been inspired by a video that I watched from Hunter. He has some fantastic, no frills, lots of thrills gameplay, and instead, what I've brought to you today is Tiny German. Let's see, 26, I think is the correct way to try to say that in the German language. And well, he's just going to have a grand old time in the Wish.com, or maybe we could call it paying off China. We got a big debt to repay. You know what? I think that to get a little bit not officially political, so I can post this on live.ru, but I think that all of this, let's call it nonsense, okay? There's been a lot of nonsense. All this nonsense with regard to something that came from China and a bunch of stuff that stopped coming from China, if you know what I mean, along with all the misinformation, all of the realizations that we depend for strategic resources and everyday life and death items. I think it's 6 of the most commonly used life-saving drugs in hospitals are exclusively produced outside the US, in China. Is that a good idea? Is that a wise situation to allow ourselves to get into? And of course, you can't stop private businesses from making their own decisions, but you can start a business that makes better decisions. And I think it's time for American capitalism to stand up for itself by acting responsibly instead of just chasing that sweet, delicious profit margarine that will clog your heart. You gotta think in the long term. You can't poop in the nest. It's gonna make a mess. This message brought to you by Toshio Thunder, employed full-time as a stay-at-home dad. Speaking of that, excuse me, as we, my allergies are kind of kicking up, as we watch Tiny German put many tiny holes into these enemy fighting vehicles, the 50 cal performing just as well here as the 37 armor piercing high velocity anti-tank cannon that America had pinned its light anti-tank dreams on for quite some time. But as we contemplate Tiny German's aggressive and very effective gameplay here, going behind enemy lines, even to their areas of advance, what a nice set of bushes to spawn camp from, Gaijin. Fantastic map design, as always. You're welcome. But while we consider these things and ponder the future, I'll tell you a little bit about the recent past. I've been ridiculously busy between hospital stay, hospital trips, and all kinds of other stuff. Little Joshua got a certain cosmetic, it's not exactly religious for us, but you know, shalom if you got him. He got the tip snipped, circumscribed, circumcised, if you will, and so now he's got an angry little ice cream cone going on down there, and all of that is to say, well, it's exciting having boys, I guess. I've never had a baby boy before. There's some things I have to clean a little bit more. I think I have to wipe a little bit more than with... Why am I talking about this with you? I'm busy, okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, my brain is fried. I haven't been playing a ton of War Thunder, as you might be able to tell, but I did get around 99 kills over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I turned that into a musical number for you all, so I hope you enjoy that. Aero Fighters Assault is one of my first combat flight arcade flight sim games, and it really nailed that love of air combat early on for me. Available on the N64 if you're looking. Anyway, where else was I going with this? Things have been happening, and I really have been looking forward to a video to catch up with you all. I don't know, I feel kind of optimistic. I really feel like we've all learned a lot from what's been going on the past few months. Excuse me. And hopefully this all turns out for the better. Just the level of suppression and manipulation that I've seen has been pretty disheartening, especially on the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, even Reddit. Really trying to influence the conversations of people, and for a place where individuals post their own thoughts, ideas, happenings, and content, I don't really like to see so much official content coming in to tell us how to think and what to talk about. I am not such an optimist when it comes to human nature. I think that most people are a lot worse than they give themselves credit for, and yet it's freedom with accountability and honesty and the free and liberal dispensation and discussion of truth that leads to the closest thing to a functioning society that we can get. Yes, I know it's very Greek of me, but I have very Christian worldviews to back that up as well. If people can't talk freely, openly, and share information, then they just end up assuming the worst, and we've seen a lot of that lately. What's not going so poorly is Jane J. Sargent's first first replay sent in as Jane. And this is another man of culture, I do believe. I think from what I've seen that their Jane character is one of those strike witches, which, as we all know, the good book says, "Thou shalt not permit a witch to live." So hopefully we'll get a chance to see Jane get blown away, so we don't have to haul her off to the Inquisition. But of course, I kid. You know what? We don't live in a theocracy, thank God, because human theology tends to get corrupted real fast, almost as fast as the cannon barrel, I want to say, of that sweetie boy as Jane opens up with the double deuces. It'd be cool if you could mount the 50 as a coax, have that as an option for some vehicles. I think the oh geez, what is it? The T-14 heavy tank prototype was capable of mounting a coaxial 50 cal, and I think quite a number of American vehicles were as well, along with, I'm fairly certain, a lot of the models of Centurion tank. And as we all know, a heavy machine gun is much more useful in War Thunder than a light machine gun, but a roof-mounted dead legs. A roof-mounted 50 cal is a lot of fun in a biscuit, and it's not as though American tanks need any more American dollar bias in the game. Gaijin, regardless of adjustments that have been made over the last few months, maybe the last year, to bring the Shermans into line with the performance of other vehicles competitively, America still has, I would say, a very strong case as the strongest nation in War Thunder in terms of overall variety and reliability of vehicles. You can play the boom and zoom playstyle in American fighters until the cows come home, all the way back from Grandpappy's day to the sci-fi vehicles that make up top tier these days, and that is a huge advantage. Very strong, and a nice match by Jane. Enemy tickets bled out for the win, in case you were wondering. And now we see AmFam's own Nawa 1-1, Nawa 11. Let's see, what is 11 in Japanese? It's once in Spanish, because my brain cannot differentiate between languages. You're welcome. But what is it? And I guess I never really learned. Did I learn to count past? I think I did learn to count past 10 in Japanese, but it's been a while. So we'll just leave it at that. It's not coming to mind, and there's better stuff to talk about. I really have missed you guys. I've missed making videos. I've been crazy busy, and I'm not even ashamed to say it. I've also been playing a game called Massive Chalice by Double Fine Studios. I've been a fan of Double Fine's art. Those were the guys behind they started their own studio in the form of Double Fine, but they made an adventure game called Broken Age, which is a lot of fun, fantastic storytelling, great art style, and solid adventure game mechanics. It's been quite some time since adventure games were popular, but the Deponia series and Broken Age are two examples of delightful titles that have persisted regardless of the media moving on. And I've been playing Massive Chalice, which is sort of a mix of that interesting art style and characterization by Double Fine, which really, I think one of the things that they try to do is to humanize their characters, which is always helpful, because humanity is something that is lacking in the conversations today. Just considering the thoughts and feelings of others for real, instead of responding immediately to somebody else's 2 cents. Yet another American T-14 taken down, no time to point any potential 50 cals at this Italian flanking boy. The noodle truck delivering completely uncooked, armor-piercing, imported pasta noodles into the crew compartment of these poor American lads. And of course, marinara sauce not being in short supply anywhere during World War II, our great American troopers just had to stop and eat some spaghetti al fresco. No one ever gets harmed in War Thunder, of course, because that's how games for, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds work internationally. Anyway, we know, of course, that this follows along with the German censorship code, where you're not even allowed to have humans fighting each other. No, they're clearly robots. In fact, they're the the T-4000 or whatever from Terminator 2, the Liquidnator. I know, a very sophisticated name, but Liquidnator is definitely the right term, and that's what I always used through my youth as a fan of that movie. Very cool practical effects in that one, by the way. Did I get a little bit distracted? Well, back to life, back to reality, back to the boomstick, as peeking between bushes in third person and getting that dankin' flankin' on a Sherman 76 pays off nicely. Was that a Stalinium Sherman? It looked pretty green, but hard to tell these days. And that sort of brings up another issue. I think I was going to give you a little bit more current events about my life, but long story short, I've been super busy, making great progress on growing a baby boy, changing some very messy newborn diapers. Those are always fun. And baby Joshua, now a week old. And I feel like a week old man. Let me tell you something. I ain't getting any younger, and I feel like I'm sicker every year. My allergies have been kicked up to 11 because there's just so much wildflowers and brush blooming right now. We're getting lots of rain and then lots of sun, and there's lots of weeds, noxious plants shooting their plant jizz into the atmosphere, and my lungs just ain't about that. And on top of that, I have a food sensitivity to monosodium glutamate, and I ate half a bag of chips I ate half a bag of barbecue chips after eating the better part of a family-sized bag of sour cream and onion chips. Yes, I was celebrating 2 momentous occasions: the birth of my son a few days past, and finally getting back together with the D&D group, playing some D&D 5.0 with my buddies over at Husky House. And I had an absolute blast. I had too much fun. I made too many puns. I said things that I regret, and made me look like an idiot. And I loved it. I cannot wait for Sunday. but I ate a half a bag of MSG flavored chips, and that does a number on my digestive system. If you can imagine what a very inflamed and upset digestive tract does within and outside my body. It's not super pleasant, and it just killed my energy level. But today, I was an overcomer. I went out and I cut some of those overgrown weeds in my own yard. I even relived a little bit of my wildland firefighting days, hand hacking with a pick to take down some of the plants around the siding of my house. And then, as we for some reason look at Insidious 7, because Gaijin cannot make a consistent replay system, I also mowed that lawn, and that is a huge victory for me. I didn't feel like I had the energy to do it today, but I did it anyway, and it didn't kill me, it made me stronger. And if that sounds like I'm horribly out of shape, then you're absolutely right. When I was digging in the ground with my pick, which is a fantastic tool for your less fine gardening needs, I was feeling it, man. I was feeling it in my arms. I was feeling it in my lungs and heart. And I'm out of shape. Definitely out of shape. I'm rocking that dad bod. But more importantly, I'm sitting around in my living room as much as possible. And I'm not entirely convinced that I need to change that yet. But we'll see about that. I might have to learn to be a farmer one of these days when, I don't know, when we stop having food on the shelves, or maybe when we all decide to stop letting the cheapest food available poison us slowly or quickly. The food that Americans eat is just not food. It's like processed trash that has been... we're looking at vegetables that have been soaked in chemicals that will destroy your DNA. Monsanto having been successfully sued for their lies about their products not causing cancer. Funny, that's they're still in business though, aren't they? And Roundup is still being sprayed by the megaton across the nation. You eat the apple, you eat the Roundup, your body takes the DNA damage, and you grow that cancer in your future. So we eat fruits and vegetables that are poison. We raise our animals. The chicken industry is disgusting. I think I've talked about that a little bit before. I'm not super well informed, which is part of the issue. But I think Foster Farms isn't quite so bad. And trust me, if I had good access to some free-range chickens, I would probably avail myself of the opportunity. But you're talking to a guy that, again, spends most of his time sitting on the floor in his living room as we watch the IAR-81C, one of the few purely Romanian aircraft, is the only available in the game, and a fantastic, I like to think of it as a baby Focke-Wulf, or an early feeling Focke-Wulf, a little bit underpowered in that department, which is certainly its main weakness. But it's definitely one of those aircraft that, with its very fun Waffengranat, I think it's called, Waffengranat, something like that, rockets and its bomb, you can really have a lot of fun with. And that ends today's video. I'm looking forward to catching up with you all on the Discord, link in the description below. and seeing your own replays. So definitely send those in. I made a friend today on Reddit, so that was pretty cool. I think it was Reddit. Might have been, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Reddit. Sometimes it's Facebook. But anyway, looking forward to seeing that fella. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.